I wonder if you've ever met someone very famous before.
I've actually met a few famous people in my life. I've met the guy who plays Darth Vader, David Prowse, and I've also met Liam Gallagher. He's the lead singer of a famous band your parents have probably heard of, Oasis. I asked you who you would most like to meet. Some of you said David Walliams. Some of you went for footballers, and I can understand that. How about meeting Lionel Messi, possibly the greatest of all time? Or maybe Liverpool's star Mo Salah, or the star on the other wing, Sadio Mane. That would be pretty cool. Some of you were more interested in people on YouTube. How about Nathan from Unspeakable Games, or the world's strongest man from America? Or how about someone you enjoy watching on TikTok? Now imagine you got a text message, or maybe even a letter, saying that they wanted to meet you. They wanted to talk to you. How amazing would that be? Would you feel incredibly excited and be jumping around? Or would you feel really, really nervous about meeting someone that you feel like you know but have never met before? Let me tell you a story about a man called Simeon that we read about in Luke chapter 2. Now God had promised him that he would one day meet Jesus. He would meet God's Son. And one day he got given a little nudge. He was told that he should go to the temple courts by the Holy Spirit. And it was the very day that Jesus was being presented to the temple. He was being given a name, as all little boys would have been done in those days. And it was that day where he finally got to see the person that he was promised. He got to meet the person he was most excited about meeting, the Son of God, Jesus. And Simeon is so excited. He takes Jesus in his arms and he says this: "Sovereign Lord, as you have promised, you may now dismiss your servant in peace. For my eyes have seen your salvation, which you have prepared in the sight of all nations, a light for revelation to the Gentiles, and the glory of your people Israel." I wonder if that's what you would say when you finally got to meet your hero. Well, it's what Simeon says. But why does he say these things? Well, it's because he was getting to meet the most important person that had ever lived. He was meeting Jesus. But why Jesus? Why every time you hear anything from us at Emmanuel, it's always Jesus this, Jesus that? Well, let me tell you how special he is. I want you to imagine. I heard this story about Lionel Messi, the footballer we mentioned before. He was on holiday once, and he saw these little boys, and they were from England, and they were playing football on the beach. They weren't very good. They were maybe 9 or 10 years old. But Lionel Messi came over to them and said, "Do you mind if I play with you?" And it was amazing. They were getting to play with the world's most amazing footballer, and he was playing with them. How special would that have been? Well, why am I telling you this? Well, imagine how amazing that was. Imagine how special that felt for those boys. Now I want you to imagine that you've got the God that created everything, who is so amazing that nothing happens without his permission. And yet he came down and lived among you. Now that's what Jesus did. Jesus was born into a poor family because he loved us. Even though he was the most special person ever, he was God. So far more special than any of those celebrities that we've just mentioned. And yet he came down to our level because he loved us. And not only did he live, but he also died as well. He died for all the things that we've done wrong, and also he rose again. Remember I said at the beginning of the video about getting an invitation or a message inviting you to meet the person you most wanted to meet. Well, there's an invitation in the Bible for you to meet Jesus in a book called 1 John, and in chapter 3 it says this: "Dear friends, now we are children of God, and what we will be has not yet been made known. But we know that when Christ appears, when Jesus comes back, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. So there is that promise, that invitation, that one day we will get to meet Jesus, and it will be the most wonderful thing in the whole world. So, this morning, if you have heard this video, that invitation extends to you. Yes, you at home. And Jesus is far more special than any footballer, than any TikTok star or strongman or funny author. He is God himself. And he wants to know you. He wants to meet you. Isn't that amazing? And this meeting is not just for 5 minutes while you get a photo and an autograph. No. If you are a Christian today, you will get to live with Jesus forever. Why don't you speak to your parents? Why don't you pause this video or maybe over lunch chat to your mum or dad about what it means to know Jesus and what it would be like to meet him?